Upon crossing the border into Guatemala, I realized I had entered another world entirely. In search of an ancient Mayan ruin called El Sots, I followed the map onto 20 miles of unbelievably eroded concrete. I guess I could have turned back when the road became muddy two-track, but when you're on a long motorcycle trip, the tendency is to push it as far as you can. After about 4 miles of this, I reached a gate. I saw some gringos inside sipping tea and asked the man how much. When he quoted me an astronomical figure to see the ruin, I turned around and headed back. Using my machete, I cleared out a makeshift campsite in the jungle. There was another more well-known site called Tikal, which wasn't far. As I was leaving, I saw quite a surprise. A dead fer-de-lance snake that had been run over. These characters are known for some particularly nasty venom, which causes the flesh to rot from the inside out. I thought to myself, maybe this is a place that deserves my respect. Dating back as far as 1,000 years before Christ, the ruined city of Tikal was once the capital of ancient Mayan civilization. These structures were built in alignment with various stellar constellations, as astronomy was of great importance to the ancient Maya. The level of craftsmanship and precision of the stonework was nothing short of amazing. Just making a loop through the place on foot took almost all day, and I didn't even begin to see everything. I rented a thatch roof hut for $5 and settled in to the sound of the jungle. Being totally ignorant of Guatemala, I did what I always do, which was to pick a spot on the map and go. Unlike Mexico, nearly everyone here got around on a motorcycle. As it turned out, there was an indescribably beautiful jungle resort in the town of Poptoon, which featured a talking parrot and an unexcavated Mayan pyramid in the backyard. When I mentioned my dire financial situation, they offered me a shack and access to the kitchen in exchange for 20 hours of work around the property. And just like that, I became a Guatemalan house painter. All around the property, there seemed to be a never-ending procession of cute Guatemalan girls who came by to flirt with the exotic gringo. My Spanish was progressing nicely. Also present were a group of American dental students who offered to give me a cleaning on the house. One morning, a señora from the kitchen ran up, thrusting a sorry-looking bird into my hand. For the next hour and a half, I performed CPR on the poor pajarito. Eventually it came back online, but was still in rough shape, so one of the girls took it home. Eager to see more of Central America, I studied the map and made for Guatemala Belize. This border crossing was a total pain in the ass. It seemed like everyone had their hands out, and I got burned out of $50 exchanging money. Not a good start. To my surprise, almost everyone here spoke English, the country having once been a colony of the British. Being as it is near the Caribbean, there was an unmistakable island feel about the place. Around Belmopan, I stopped at GJ's restaurant for spicy curry goat, a far cry from what I'd been eating thus far. I made a promise to GJ and his wife to return someday, and I meant it. I still think about this place often. Around this time, my faithful travel buddy, Scooter Tramp Scotty, had made it to Playa del Carmen, so I headed north. I was welcomed back into Mexico with my machete and started looking for a spot in the jungle. I cleared out a path big enough for the bike a couple 100 yards from the road. As I was setting up, I heard a faint sound to my left and stopped. The mysterious creature then made a half circle around my camp and sauntered off into the jungle. I suspect I'd encountered a jaguar. Whatever it was clear that it was the boss around here. I met up with Scotty at a gorgeous RV park on the beach. He too had made a new friend, the lovely Vita, who has since appeared in many of his videos. A cenote is a freshwater sinkhole common in these parts where the water is crystal clear. This particular one famously used to be the home of a crocodile, but it was suspected some natives from the surrounding villages killed and ate it. The pool was filled with hundreds of tiny fish which would come up and nibble on your skin. Apparently they pay big money for this back in the States. The place on the beach was a little too rich for our blood, so Scotty and I moved to a $3 a night spot in the jungle in which a hunchback with a vicious dog was tending the grounds. That dog was out for blood, and anytime we walked to the shower house, we had to carry a club to fight it off. It even bit me on the ankle one evening when I went to go fire up the grill. As much as I would have loved to stay in Mexico forever, it was already middle of February and Bike Week was coming up in Daytona Beach. I was looking at a long damn ride around the Gulf of Mexico to Florida. Every long journey starts with a single step, as they say, so I stepped my way across the Yucatan Peninsula. Here I tried the local version of slow-roasted, marinated pork shoulder, cochinita pibil. That night, I made camp next to some honeybee hives in the state of Campeche. I picked up the journey along the Gulf Coast. Upon reaching Tabasco, I bought some smoked, dried shrimp and bullshitted with a family sitting around on lawn chairs. The people of this area will be forever cemented in my mind as some of the most charming I've ever met. Right from the start, I developed a habit of flirting with every woman I met. Latin American culture is intensely passionate, and every trip to the restaurant was an opportunity for romance. My chain and sprockets were on their last legs at this point, and every time I stopped for gas, I'd have to run through the ritual of tightening the chain. I passed by Felipe's casa on the way back, and this time nearly all the family was there. They seemed to take particular delight in teaching me dirty words and phrases in Spanish, and we quickly became friends. On the menu, fried fish Veracruz style, pulled straight out of the ocean, thrown whole into a sizzling wok, and fried until crispy. I shared a poignant moment with Felipe's family when once again I realized just how much we all had in common, in spite of our differences. From Santana, I retraced my footsteps back to the border. I stopped at a restaurant along the way, and after joking about getting married to the lady who owned the place, she gave me my meal for half price. My working understanding of basic Spanish was serving me well here, and I made up my mind to study the language in earnest. If you ever see an auto hotel, just know these are where the magic happens. The girls working the counter laughed when I said I wanted to spend the night and brought me several blankets. I again met up with Raul and he gave me an escort back to Reynosa. As I crossed into Texas, the guard took one look and said, "Man, are you crazy or something?" and waved me through. I was home, whatever that was, but I knew one thing for sure. I was going back down there just as soon as I could. Hey, Joe here. I hope you enjoyed that video of part 2 of the ride to Guatemala and Belize on an Ninja 300. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, there's an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody who might like to contribute to this project. With that being said, I'm still recovering from the surgery that I just had on the hernia. I just wanted to really say thank you to everybody for your comments and concerns and support. Really went a long way, I feel like, to putting me on a good road to recovery. Definitely doing better, finally wearing normal clothes instead of that stupid hospital gown and whatnot. I got my buddy Bob over there taking care of me. What's up, Bob?
What's happening?
Just thanks again for all the support and all the nice things. So anyways, with that being said, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the road.